Certain infections, microbes, and parasites get all the consideration for being infectious. On the off chance that a companion happens to get COVID-19, ringworm or lice, we're likely going to give them some additional room for some time. In spite of the numerous ailments we know spread starting with one individual then onto the next, there are still bounty we are not even mindful of. On head of that, you can get things from others that Clorox wipes and hand sanitizer are feeble against. Snickering and yawning are notable to go from one individual to another. Between subtle microorganisms and practices we accepted were under our own control, there are various diseases we are largely spreading among ourselves. Peruse on to find 10 things you most likely didn't have any acquaintance with you could get from another person. Coronary illness has for some time been viewed as a non-communicable sickness, a consequence of hereditary qualities and way of life decisions. Prior this year, a group of colleagues in Safar's Humans and Microbiome program gave proof despite what might be expected. They found that coronary illness, just as different ailments, for example, IBS, and type 2 diabetes, can likewise be contagious. The group started with the premise that every one of these sicknesses exists together with a changed microbiome, the blend of microscopic organisms, growths, and parasites that exist in our gut. When these changed microbiome are introduced in creature models, they make malady in their new host. The unfortunate microbiome that causes these sicknesses is the thing that spreads from individual to individual, like how a stomach bug does. Whether or not a sound microbiome can be passed starting with one individual then onto the next is as yet being explored. Incidentally, dejection is infectious. While it may appear as though a gathering of forlorn individuals would share something for all intents and purpose and in this way not be so desolate, it doesn't really work that way. A drawn-out investigation of more than 5,000 individuals and their social connections indicated a recognizable spread of depression from one individual to another. People start encountering sentiments of dejection before they become altogether segregated. This implies individuals begin feeling desolate when they are as yet investing energy with companions, which is the way they share their sentiments of depression with others before receiving a loner way of life. Those moved sentiments of dejection flourish in the following individual, and the cycle continues. We're more helpless to getting forlornness from companions than from family, and ladies will in general be more influenced than men. Distressing ways of life and hot nourishments have regularly been wrongly blamed for causing peptic ulcers. Actually, the primary driver of stomach ulcers is a bacterium called Helicobacter pylori. More than half of the total populace is tainted with the bacterium. For reasons not yet sought, a few people never endure any indications of age pylori, while others create peptic ulcers in the stomach and small digestive tract as a result of it. The ulcer-causing bacterium is infectious through salivation and fecal issue, so trading spit and poor hand-washing practices could land you an ulcer. Specialists at the University of Sussex found proof that people are powerless to temperature virus, a wonder where just survey somebody in a cool circumstance makes our own internal heat level drop. Members in an examination were approached to watch a video somebody diving their hand into ice water. Not exclusively did the watchers express that the video caused them to feel chilly, the genuine surface temperature of their hands diminished significantly. Interestingly, temperature disease was just connected with feeling cold. When watching somebody put their hand into warm water, members had almost no physical reaction. We as a whole know as a matter of fact that being around glad individuals causes us to feel entirely chipper, while pessimistic Peters can transform winning the lottery into a terrible day. Incidentally, our bliss is influenced by something beyond our internal friend networks and family. You probably won't have picked your locally established on the demeanor of those living in the territory, however they affect your temperament. In the event that you happen to have a lively kin living close by, they'll increment your chances of bliss by 14%. An upbeat nearby neighbor expands your chances by 34%, while a cheerful companion living not far off ups your chances by over 40%. There are 3 creatures that as of now experience the ill effects of contagious types of cancer. Tasmanian fallen angels spread facial tumors through nibbles, canines send venereal tumors through sexual contact, and delicate-shelled shellfishes spread their contaminated harmful cells through seawater. These discoveries throughout the most recent couple of decades have radically changed our insight into malignancy's capacity to turn into an infectious disease. While people are not yet known to effectively send destructive cells starting with one host then onto the next, there have been recorded situations where certain conditions permitted only that to occur. In 2018, an organ giver kicked the bucket with undiscovered bosom malignant growth. 4 individuals got transfers of her organs, and each of them 4 created bosom malignant growth. For another situation, a HIV-positive patient contracted malignancy from a tapeworm in his digestion tracts. In these models, the patients who got malignant growth from another host had undermined invulnerable frameworks. Researchers right now accept that infectious malignant growth is exceptionally improbable to happen in people outside of these uncommon circumstances. However, the advancement of contagious disease in creatures shows how that can change. The majority of us are as of now acquainted with how being in a gathering of individuals who are disrupting the guidelines can impact us to do likewise, regardless of whether we wouldn't have done as such under ordinary conditions. However, research led in a progression of tests in the Netherlands demonstrates that this connection reaches out past simply that specific second. In addition to the fact that we are bound to disrupt guidelines when encircled by other standard breakers, we're likewise going to be bound to defy different norms in other situations. If we're strolling not far off with a lot of slobs, we may throw our own junk to the control. Yet, later when only we're, that introduction to the breaking of accepted practices can make us be bound to steal another person's tidbits out of the lounge at work or neglect to tidy up after our canine during their walk. High blood pressure, often associated with unhealthy diet and lifestyle choices, was discovered to also be linked to a very common contagious virus. A team of researchers discovered that mice infected with cytomegalovirus, or CMV, developed higher blood pressure than those without the virus. That's not to say diet doesn't play a role. Mice infected with CMV who also binged on high cholesterol foods had the highest blood pressure rates. The researchers also conducted trials with human cell cultures. The human cells infected with CMV created a protein already known to contribute to high blood pressure. CMV is estimated to affect between 60 and 99% of adult humans worldwide. The virus is transmitted through the sharing of bodily fluids and stays in your body for life. Because of something many refer to as objective disease, we inadvertently, and regularly subliminally, embrace the induced objectives of individuals we associate with. In the event that somebody we're visiting with at an evening gathering is attempting to unwind and have a ball, they don't have to explain that for us. We'll get that from their conduct, nonverbal communication, and subjects of discussion. On the off chance that this objective is esteemed fitting, there's a decent possibility we'll embrace it ourselves and approach having our own great time. In the event that rather we're connecting with somebody who showed up rationalizing about leaving early, we also may end up checking our watch and attempting to make a quick exit. Goal disease is more grounded with somebody in your inward hover than an outsider. And it is more averse to happen when the objective is viewed as improper. So if our evening gathering buddy is circumventing slipping roofies in individuals' beverages, we won't be subliminally constrained to do likewise. Of the apparent multitude of things your dental specialist typically prescribes to keep your teeth solid: flossing, brushing, scaling back sugar, evading individuals with helpless dental cleanliness most likely isn't on that list. Cavities happen when microorganisms in our mouth changes over sugar into corrosive that clings to the tooth and destroys the finish. Regardless of whether you brush and floss normally, kissing somebody with sluggish oral cleanliness propensities will land you with a similar cavity-causing microorganisms in your own mouth. Children are more defenseless in light of the fact that they haven't yet developed any invulnerability to the microscopic organisms. A grown-up can pass depression making microscopic organisms their youngster by kissing them on the mouth, sharing utensils, or wiping off a pacifier with their mouth before returning it to an infant.